We were discussing about the post-independence history, the initial phase, and the challenges which the nascent India was facing. So we categorize the challenges in the three categories. The first is the short-term issues, the second was the mid-term issues, and third is the long-term issues. We discussed about the short-term and mid-term issues. Today, our discussion would be on the long-term issues. So in long term, we were expecting to make, midterm issues are somewhere also part of the long term issues, no doubt about it. And some of the specifically long term issues for the continuing transformation, because whatever you are transforming in the midterm, you are supposed to go continuous with that and ultimately make a nation state in a very stable position. This is what the requirement was. So in the long term, structural challenges are still we are working on. Okay, the long term challenges are still we are working on. So what are long term challenges? The poverty and the persistent inequality. The Indian society was obscurantist, and yesterday in the midterm challenge we discussed about the social inequality, the obscurantist part, the bigotry part. So the inculcation of the right values was the part of the curriculum in the education, the scientific temper, and somewhere there were legal aspects in our constitution. They were talking about that there should be no discrimination. The fundamental rights were there, right to equality and other parts. You people should come on time. Class is already late, and you people come always after I come. Okay, try to come on time. Okay. So poverty and persistent inequality. So it's a long-term challenge. Even today, India is facing some kind of crisis in terms of equality. Okay, Indian society is still suffering from the curse of the inequality. The caste-based prejudice, the religion-based prejudice are still prevalent among Indian masses. So we have to work on it. We are working on it, both from the legal point of view as well as from the moral point of view. There's a concept called constitutional morality. Dr. Ambedkar talked about it, constitutional morality. So we know what is morality. Morality is the sense of right and wrong. Morality is a sense of right and wrong. Society have its own morality, and the base of morality is the value system in the society. When we talk about Indian society and its conservative aspect, there are some conventional values which people uphold, but there should always be some sort of liberal values. So our constitution maker talked about it, especially Dr. Ambedkar talked about the constitutional morality. When we inculcated the Western liberal principles in our constitution, then it is the responsibility of the constitution or the people who are enforcing it to must generate among masses a sense of morality which should be based on the foundation principles which are enshrined in our constitution. That is called as the constitutional morality. Means your sense of right and wrong should come from the constitution, and constitution is already enshrined with the right values, the value of equality, the value of justice, the value of brotherhood. So all these values are supposed to be inculcated among masses. That's called the constitutional morality. Among all the institutions, all the stakeholders, whoever residing within the territory of India, they must have that value. The bureaucracy, the politicians, okay, the people themselves, the households, everybody. They must have the right values, and that's the constitutional morality. When morality will come from the constitution, that's the constitutional morality. That's the need of the hour. Even today, we are continuously talking about the constitutional morality. Nowadays, it's a very significant concept, and in nowadays in the intellectual domain, that's in the political discourse that constitutional morality is the need of the hour today. Okay. So that's a continuous process, integrating the society, generating a sense of equality, generating a sense of freedom, generating a sense of justice. All these things is a continuous process. India is a prismatic society. India is a developing society. India is society in transition, exactly. Okay. So when India is society in transition, then these things are in a continuum, not in a dichotomy. Either we did it or we are not doing it. Okay, that's a dichotomy, yes or no. Things like this, the equality and justice, all these things doesn't work in a dichotomy. Okay, they work in a continuum. Continuum means progress is going on, and it works on the basis of which party is coming into power, what ideology is coming into power, how they are um, respecting the constitution, or they're coming up with their own idea or something like that. Okay, it works on the multiple factors, but it's a continuum. More important part, it's a continuum. It doesn't make a dichotomy, yes or no. Okay, can you say Indian society is justice? People will say yes, somebody will say no, but this cannot be the answer. The absolute answer cannot be the possibility here. Okay, so it's a continuum. Yeah, somewhere there is, somewhere there, some in some cases there is a lack of jurisprudence or the judicial pronunciation. So we can say there is a continuum. So poverty and the persistence, inequality, it's a long-term challenge. We are still facing some issues, but more or less we are going in the direction of attaining it. India is heterogeneous society, no doubt. There are prejudices, multiple prejudices, caste-based, religion-based, region-based, language-based. There are prejudices. Okay, we must eliminate these prejudices with the help of constitutional morality as well as the sense of nationalism among masses. And that nationalism, the sense of nationalism, must come again with the constitution, because the oneness will come only when everybody will recognize themselves with the Indianness rather than recognizing themselves from a affiliated with some particular state or language or religion. Okay, so this is the long term challenge. Next is the demographic pressure and the human capital. No doubt about it. Demographic pressure. Resource. India lacks resources in so many cases. India lacks capital. When we talk about the industrial development of India, we need seed capital. That's why we open up and we are asking for more and more FDI to be part of Indian investments. So demographic pressure is there, investment pressure is there, because we don't have adequate amount of resources, but our population is continuously growing. To take care of that population, not only in terms of survival, but in terms of their generating their capability, so that they can generate a nation altogether. So for that, what government need to do? Government need to take care of their social status, their economic status, their education, and all these things. So this ultimately make them, or make their standard of living at par with the other developed countries. In that direction we must approach, we must go. So government need a lot of resources, and that's a demographic pressure which India is facing right now, because India is the largest country in the world on the basis of population. And there is somewhere demographic, there is a concept called demographic dividend, there is a concept called demographic disaster. So when government is not able to take care of the all these sections of society, we are mixed economy. We know that there is a lot of things which are ultimately be taken care by the market, a lot of things which are supposed to be taken care by the government only. So in this mixed model, somewhere you cannot give the onus of doing things to the private sector. Government have to intervene, government have to do it. But again, the taxation part would be limited. Government cannot tax the people after a certain limit. We know it. Okay. So government need resources. And in that case scenario, again, it's a kind of challenge that how to make things more compatible and making a right way forward. That how to take care of your population on one hand, also to take care of your fiscal health of the economy. So there is somewhere a prudent way, which is the need of the hour. There is a demographic pressure. And the human capital, no doubt about it, the demographic pressure or the demographic disaster. If you want to avert that crisis, we must convert people into dividend. And that would be our human capital. And if we will not take care of our human capital, that will be ultimately disastrous. Okay, and we must take care. The highest youth population in the world is in India. We have to take care of that youth. Youth have the energy. If we will not channelize that energy in the right direction, they might go in the wrong direction, and that would be disastrous, both for the nationalistic point of view as well as for the integrity and the integrity and the unity of the nation. Okay, sir, it's a long term challenge. So it's about culture, it's about generating the job generation, the adequate livelihood for the people. Okay, all these things, it's not only about the survival, it is also about generating capability. It's not only about the dole, it's also about the empowerment. Okay, so you must empower them. Generation of jobs is very important for us. We must generate. If we will not cope up with the human capital which is coming daily in front of us, that might be either that will be diverted to the fields which is not desirable, or they might flee the country. That's called the brain drain. Okay, so many people after completing their graduation from the subsidized institution like IITs and IIMs, and they just take a flight to the United States Silicon Valley and just put all their energy in order to work to make a country better, which is currently putting 50% tariff on India. Getting it, sir? So they are studying in India, then ultimately helping the country like USA. It works in that way only. Let's not put it in this way, but this is happening right now. No? So we are supposed to take care of that brain drain also. But so many people, so many scientists, so many people with the larger adroitness and intelligence are leaving the country and going to some other country. Why? Because we are not able to acknowledging them adequately. We must acknowledge them, and we must provide them proper ventures, proper academic autonomy, so that they can use their potential to further India rather than helping some other countries to further their own desires. Are you getting it? So we must help, we must curtail this also, the brain drain, and on the other hand, the social liabilities, educational liabilities, supposed to be eliminated. This is again a long-term challenge. Now, social justice and cohesion, no doubt social justice. And this justice is not only about the procedural justice, I'm telling you. Okay, this justice is not the retributive justice or the domain of judiciary. It's also about the distributive justice. Okay, how legislature and the executive is taking their part, how executive is making policy, how government is making policy, how legislature is making laws in order to ultimately the end goal should be the justice, serving the justice in the society. Okay, using the equity, using the positive discrimination wherever needed. Okay, so all these things. So the retributive part as well as the distributive part, and both will be combined. Once the distributive will be achieved, if there is any lacuna, then the retributive part will come into the picture, and they will take care of it. Okay, like restoration of the loss. If there is a breach of any law is taking place, then there should be restoration of that particular part. Getting it, sir? So the social justice is a larger phenomena. Social justice is the fairness. Okay, there are so many aspects of social justice, but we are talking in terms of the retributive as well as the distributive justice and the cohesiveness among the masses. That's the larger goal, that's the long-term goal. Okay, it's called nation in making. We must make a nation state enough stable so that it cannot, cannot be disturbed by any discontent. Okay, cannot be disturbed by any outer interference in the sovereignty of the country. That is required both internally as well as externally. Economic transformation, we discussed about it. Economic transformation, okay, till 1990s we were very much closed economy in terms of investment. We opened up in 91. Then the global role in the non-aligned movement and all these things, and the federal balance. Now it's also need of the hour, federal balance. Initially we were kind of that, till 1967 only Congress were in the dominance for the early 20 years. Okay, only Congress in the all the states Congress had the government. In the central level Congress had the government. In 1967 change took place. Some regional parties came into picture, and then comes the real meaning of the federalism. Like now the things are somewhere fishy between the center and the state. Now state will ask for something which is their share. But till the time when the Congress were in the reign, in the early 20 years, at both the levels, central and the state level, both the parties were Congress only. So there were no any kind of confrontation among the states and the center. But after 1967, when the first time the non-Congress government were made in some of the states, there comes the real exam of the federalism, whether it will survive or not. Okay, and after that there were initially there was a kind of cooperative federalism. Gradually it converted into competitive federalism, and somewhere it's a healthy federalism, which is the need of the hour. There should be a healthy federalism, and India is a healthy federal country, I can say. Okay, so that the federal balance was also part, because initially there were only Congress. We'll discuss about these parties today. Okay, initially there was only Congress. Gradually the new parties came, regional parties came, and they started asserting their voices in their region, asserting the rights or the demands of their own people. Okay, and that particular regional demand should not come in confrontation with the national integration. Now it's very important. Here we must maintain, or here they or the people at that time were trying to maintain the the national spirit along with the regional aspiration. Okay, because regional aspiration is part of it, because India is heterogeneous society. India is a federal country. No doubt there would be some sort of the regional demands would be there, and those regional demands must be balanced with the national aspiration, the national integration. Any regional demand should not be that parochial that it is coming and hindering the process of the national integration. Are you getting me? This was the part. So that's India's remarkable journey. We discussed the very famous speech of the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the tryst with the destiny. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to the life and the freedom. A moment comes, which comes but rarely in the history, when we step out from the old to new, and when an age ends, and when the soul of the nation long suppressed find utterance. It's a very famous speech. Okay, the tryst with the destiny. Okay. So the short term, medium, and the long term. And this, I personally find that this particular things, but whatever we discussed, is very important in order to have a very good glimpse of the post-independence history. Now we'll deal with the factual part of it. So today we are going to start the history, post-independence history of India, factually on the basis of the Lok Sabha elections. Okay, we'll discuss all the 18 Lok Sabha elections, how parties made, new parties came, and how elections happened, and how many times there was a hung assembly, many regional parties comes, what are the coalitions. We'll discuss about those things. Okay, previously we thought of discussing things according to the Prime Minister, but I think it would be better if we will discuss according to the Lok Sabha elections. Okay, so let's start. So recently in 2024 we had which number of Lok Sabha election? It was 18th Lok Sabha. Though currently 18th Lok Sabha is in motion. It is serving. So we'll discuss about the Lok Sabha, and let me tell you one very important thing. The constitution was made in implemented on 26 January 1950. Okay, 26 January 1950. It was the date on which India became the republic. Uh, Now the point is that India was not politically unified. It was unified. It was unified. But the problem was whatever we see today, the political map of India, was not the same map at that point of time. There were different states, there were different category of the political units, and we discussed about the part A, part B, part C, part D. Whatever British gave us, we divided those things into part A, part B, part C. Constituent Assembly did it. Part A, part B, part C, part A, part D. Okay. In A part there were provinces, B part princely states, in the C part commissionate provinces which were centrally administered. So we can also say the centrally administered territories, not UTs. The concept of UT came in the 1956. Okay, but centrally administered territory were already there. Keep this in mind. Okay, centrally administered territory. So commissionerate provinces were centrally administered. So part C was centrally administered territories or the commissionerate province, and part D was about the Andaman and Nicobar territories. So this was the political map of India. Okay, and the major reorganization was awaited. Now our constitution talked about the strength of the Lok Sabha, strength of the Lok Sabha. Now the Article 81 of the Constitution, Article 81 of the Constitution talks about the strength of the Lok Sabha. Now the most important part is that our Constitution never talked about exact strength of the Lok Sabha. Our Constitution under the Article 81, it prescribed only the limit of it, only the limit, the maximum and the minimum limit. Okay, sir. So there is a maximum limit in the Article 81. In the original Constitution, the maximum limit was 500 seats in the Lok Sabha from the states. Okay, from the states, and 20 seats from the centrally administered territories. UT was not there. Centrally administered territories. Okay, and princely states are supposed to be assimilated into UTs, no doubt, assimilated into the states. Okay, no doubt about it, or maybe become the UTs, central territories. The point was Constitution Article 81 originally prescribed the maximum limit of the seats of Lok Sabha in the states is 500. Okay, originally it is maximum limit, not the exactly on on how many seats election will happen. Maximum seat is 500. Okay, and maximum seats from centrally administered territory would be 20. So 520 was the maximum strength prescribed by the Article 81 in the original constitution. Okay. Now, how to make changes in the Lok Sabha seats? There's always a contentious issue in the mind. How to make changes in the Lok Sabha seats? Initially, the first Lok Sabha election happened after the 1951 census. Okay, actually, this was awaited that first let the census happen. After the census, delimitation commission will come. Parliament will pass under the Article 82. Parliament will make the delimitation commission, the delimitation act. On the basis of that act, delimitation commission will come. Now, commission will identify that this will be the number of seats. Actually, the point is, Parliament itself identifies that this would be the number of seats. They should not breach the Article 81. If number of states or the seats for the number of states is 500 maximum, then Parliament cannot go beyond 500. If Parliament want to go beyond 500, they need to amend the Article 81 itself, because Article 81 is saying 500 would be the limit. Getting it, sir? So if Parliament want to increase the number of seats in the Lok Sabha, increase the number of seats, maximum number of seats, listen to it carefully. If Parliament wants to increase the maximum number of seats which is allowed for the Lok Sabha, then they have to amend the Article 81, because Article 81 gives you maximum limit. Article 81 doesn't give you exact number. Exact number depends on the delimitation commission. Okay, getting it, sir? Also not on the delimitation commission, actually it depends on the Parliament. Okay, so 500 was the limit maximum for the state, 20 for the central administrative territory. Now under Article 82, Parliament came up with the Delimitation Act. Okay, under this Delimitation Act, a delimitation commission has been made in the 1952. Now this delimitation commission, according to the mandate of the Parliament, distributed 489 number of seats. 489, which is definitely legally under the prescribed limit by the Parliament, prescribed limit by the Constitution. So 489 seats among the states has been distributed. Getting it, sir? Now, first election happened in the 1951-52 on the basis of that mandate only, 489 seats. Okay, sir? The first election happened in the 51-52 on the 489 seats. No doubt Congress was the strongest party that time. It got a fuller mandate. Are you getting me, sir? I hope you are understanding. So today we are going to understand how things happened. What is the time when the Lok Sabha seats have been changed? Okay, till the time. Okay, if we calculate till today, 8 times Lok Sabha seats have been changed. 8 times. Okay. Now the point is, delimitation commission is made only 4 times. Okay, and the fourth delimitation commission, which is made in the 2001, that delimitation commission said that only redrawing within the state is possible. Number of seats of any state cannot be increased. It means only 3 times delimitation commission has been made, which ultimately increase the number of Lok Sabha seats. But I am saying that there are 8 instances on which Lok Sabha seats have been increased. So the point is, it is not always that delimitation commission have to be there in order to increase the seats of the Lok Sabha. Even without the delimitation commission, government or parliament can increase or decrease. So usually in the time of decrease, you don't need the delimitation order. Okay, if you are reducing the strength or adjusting the strength, you don't need delimitation commission. Okay, so till the time, total 8 times the strength of Lok Sabha has been changed. Sometimes it is reduced also. There are instances that Lok Sabha strength has been reduced. Okay, so 8 instances are there in which Lok Sabha strength has been changed, but delimitation commission are only 4. Even in these 4, 1 was not about the strength, 1 was about the redrawing. Remaining 3 was possible to increase the strength, and rest of the 5 times there was adjustments which does not require the delimitation orders. Getting it, sir? Yes. हाँ. That was for the states. That was for the states. Okay, because the organization was as such, there was a different organization, because At that time, there was part A, B, C, D was there, but princely states were already integrated, so part B was abolished. Part C, there was centrally administered territories, which were centrally administered, which were not part of that election. Okay, and remaining Andaman Nicobar was there, that was also not part of it. So ultimately, the election happened in the provinces which were reorganized according to the Constituent Assembly mandate. Getting it? So that election happened, and ultimate reorganization happened after the seventh Constitution Amendment Act 1956. After that, 14 states and the 6 UTs came into picture. So the second general election will ultimately be properly between the states, and the UTs seats will be distributed. Yes. Okay. So this was the thing. We will discuss about the things according to the election by election. So it would be good for us to understand. This is the short summary, but we have the detailed summary in the class. Okay, so this is the first Lok Sabha election. Now you must understand how the parties also changed. Okay, how the new parties came into picture and what are the parties. Sometimes in the prelims also they ask the question. Okay, and in 2020 or 21 they already asked a question regarding the seats. Okay, like who got the highest seat after Congress in the first Lok Sabha election. Yes, this was the question in the prelims UPSC. So first Lok Sabha election 51-52. Okay, it took almost 5 months to complete. It took time. Okay, the number of seats were 489. In the 489 seats, Indian National Congress got 364. No doubt. Okay, Congress was one of the established party, and there was so much legitimacy Congress had because of the national movement, legacy of the national movement. So Congress got the highest vote, 364 votes. Communist Party of India got the second highest. If you leave independence, okay, independent 37 mila tha, but single party got the highest in the is the CPI, 16 seats only. So there were no party near Congress. So it was the absolute Congress domination. Okay, it was the Congress era considered by the Rajni Kothari, one of the prominent political scientists in the contemporary times. It is the Congress era. It was the time the Congress is India, India was Congress, kind of that. Yes. So 364 is a huge majority out of 489. Okay. So CPI got 16, Praja Socialist Party. Okay, and Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party. Both were the parties associated with the few Congress individuals only. Okay, we'll discuss about it. Congress individuals. Hindu Mahasabha. Okay, Hindu Mahasabha, Bharatiya Janasangha. This Janasangha is made by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. We'll discuss about it. We will discuss about the history of the party. Don't worry. It is the important thing. Shiromani Akali Dal. This is the one of the oldest regional party still surviving. शिरोमणि अकाली दल एसएडी इज मेड इन 1920. 1920 में ये पार्टी बनी थी. स्टिल ओके. Independence 37, other small parties 42. Okay, small parties, somebody is getting 1 seat, 2 seats, something like that. Was this election fought by Dr. Ambedkar also? क्या ये इलेक्शन डॉक्टर अंबेडकर ने लड़ा था? अंबेडकर थे ना उस समय? क्या अंबेडकर ने लड़ा था चुनाव? ऑल इंडिया शेड्यूल कास्ट फेडरेशन. Okay, think about it, write this question. इसका टेम्परेचर थोड़ा कम कर दीजिए, हीट हो रहा है. Okay, Let's talk about some of the parties which participated in the first election and got kind of seats. Okay, there were some parties, for example, beyond Congress, early voices in the Indian politics. First is the Praja Socialist Party, PSP, which was ultimately merged into the Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party. Ultimately, it was merged, and the person associated was the JB Kriplani. JB Kriplani. Okay, he was a Gandhian, and Ashok Mehta. You know Ashok Mehta, the Ashok Mehta Committee, 1977. Yes, that Ashok Mehta. So these were the two people associated with the Praja Socialist Party, formed in 1952, advocating the democratic socialism, land reforms, and civil liberties. This they were talking about that. Key leaders included J.B. Kriplani and the Ashok Mehta. These were the two people associated with the Praja Socialist Party. And there were another party which is also associated with the Kriplani. Okay, Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party. Ultimately, Praja Socialist Party merged into KMPP. Okay, founded by Kriplani only, 1951. This party championed the agrarian justice and represented the peasant and workers. It was Kisan Mazdoor. So ultimately talking about the labor and the peasants. Okay. Here comes Bharatiya Janasangha, 1951, by Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Okay. Advocate of the nationalism and cultural unity. Actually, it is the predecessor of the BJP only. Okay. Predecessor of the BJP. So cultural nationalism. What? Cultural nationalism. What is the core idea of BJP? It's a cultural nationalism only. Okay, cultural nationalism is serving as a precursor to the today's BJP, Bharatiya Janasangha. Here comes Shiromani Akali Dal, Sikh-centric 1920 party. Okay, it is Shiromani Akali Dal who worked a lot for the Akali movement. Have you heard about Akali movement? Most of the Gurdwaras at that point of time were under the Mahant, Udasi Mahants of that time, and there was a corruption crept into the Gurdwaras. So the Shiromani Akali Gurdwara Prabandhan Committee Act has been passed in 1923 or 22. Under that Prabandhak committee has been made, and all the Gurdwaras came under that committee. That is a statutory committee, exists even today. So all the Gurdwaras of India comes under that. It's a Sikh parliament kind of. It's a Sikh parliament. The statutory body is act passed by parliament in 1920 or 23. Okay. So that Shiromani Akali Dal was behind that movement, one of the major stakeholder. Hindu Mahasabha, a right-wing Hindu nationalist organization, active before and immediate after independence. Its influence significantly declined post 1950 because the person Nathuram Godse had association with Hindu Mahasabha. Okay, that's why many of the people just left Hindu Mahasabha and started to channelize themselves with the Bharatiya Janasangha because the idea was same. It was cultural nationalism. Core idea of BJP today. So these were some of the parties who were active and got kind of seats. CPI we discussed about it. CPI was made in the 1924. 1924. Okay. The Manvendra Nath, Roy, M.N. Roy, radical humanism. We'll discuss about it. Okay. Not the same CPI. This CPI party, which is made in 1924, which is made in 1924. This CPI was made in 1924. Okay. This CPI was bifurcated in the 1961, 61 or 62. Bifurcated. A new section came, that is CPI M. CPI Marxist. Now CPI Marxist is a party, is also a party, political party only. CPI Marxist is a political party only, which fought election. Now today two parties exist, political parties, CPI and CPI-M. Both exist in India. They are political parties, and CPI was national party. Okay, few days back, I think just few months ago, in 2024 election only, it lost its national status. So CPI was national party. Okay, and CPI-M is currently a national party. Okay, CPI-M is currently a national party. We have 6 national parties. Okay, CPI-M is one of them. Okay, now from CPI, there comes CPI-M. So both exist today as political party, and there is another offshoot came, that is CPI ML, CPI Marxist Leninist. This offshoot came in 1964, associated with the Charu Majumdar. Okay, Vinod Mishra, Charu Majumdar. These were the people. They are associated with the left-wing extremism, the Naxalbari movement. Okay, so this CPI ML is a organization which is engaged in the Naxal operation in India, and this is banned. This is banned. Okay, so CPI is once a national party. CPI ML is currently a national party. Both fight election. Okay, and both are legit parties in India. CPI ML is a violent offshoot of this, associated with the Charu Majumdar and Vinod Mishra. Okay, and this is associated with the Naxalism. Getting it? Done? So there are three different parties: CPI, CPI-M, CPI-ML. ML is not party. ML is a violent offshoot. So CPI was one of the formidable, one of the formidable opposition to the Congress in the beginning years. Okay, CPI lost its ground in the recent times. In last 15 years, CPI lost its ground. Otherwise, CPI was one of the formidable voice of the opposition. Okay, and so in some of the states, they made their government. For example, in the West Bengal, the longest serving reign of CPI, and in the Kerala, the CPI, in Tripura, CPI. Okay, so these were the parties who had very good say in the Indian politics. But nowadays, in the last 15 years, the communists in India lost the political ground. They are not having enough say in the parliament as well as in the other places. Okay, sir? Did you get it? So in the initial year, it was CPI who got 16 seats. That Praja Socialist Party 12, Kisan Mazdoor 9. Okay, they ultimately merged together, both of the parties. Hindu Mahasabha got 4 seats, Bharatiya Janasangha 3 seats, Shiromani Akali Dal 2. That's it. These were the parties. Getting it, sir? This was the first election. Congress had the huge majority. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India. Okay. Beyond Congress, these were the voices, Praja Socialist, and this is the discuss. So the Hindu nationalist political streams in India. Hindu nationalist. Let's discuss about the Hindu nationalist. So in Hindu nationalist, the lineage is very simple. The first party is the Hindu Mahasabha. Hindu Mahasabha came into existence in the 1516. I think we discussed about it in the 1516s. And the major leaders associated with the Hindu Mahasabha were Madan Mohan Malvi, who is the founder of Hindu Mahasabha, Hindu nationalism, Lala Lajpat Rai, and the later Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Political organization representing Hindu interest under the colonial rule. There was Muslim League articulating the interest of the Muslims, and this organization was counter to the Muslim League articulating the interest of Hindus in the political realm. So ideology is the Hindu identity and unity, cultural nationalism. Yes, this is the idea. Even today, the main core idea of BJP is the cultural nationalism. Savarkar articulated the idea of Hindutva as a political cultural concept. The Mahasabha was active in the pre-independence politics but weakened after 1947, and the reason was obvious. Nathuram Godse. Okay. So this was your Hindu Mahasabha. Here comes another group which is called as a world's biggest NGO by the Prime Minister of the country. Okay, it is celebrating the 100th years of its establishment last year. Celebrated the RSS 1925. Keshav Rao Baliram Hedgewar is the founder. Cultural volunteer organization. It is a volunteer organization, not a political party. It's a pressure group. It's a pressure group, not a political party. Social organization and character building of the Hindu society. Hindu nationalism. Provided the cadre ideology organizational base for the later political formation. Okay. So RSS became the backbone of the Hindu nationalist movement. Hindu nationalist. Done? So there are two parties. Now here comes another, Bharatiya Janasangha in the 1951, sir. Janasangha, who contested the first Lok Sabha election, got 4 seats, founded by the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee with the RSS support. Create the political wing for the Hindu nationalist ideology. They are aspiring to make a political wing for Hindu nationalist ideology. First election, they won 3 seats. Standpoint is the cultural nationalism. Strong center. There should be central, strong center. Opposition to Article 370. Uniform Civil Code. Okay. Just think about it. In 1950, when this party was made, their idea was to abolish 370. It was done by Bharatiya Janata Party in 2019. Okay. Uniform Civil Code is also aspiration of Bharatiya Janata Party. Getting it, sir? So dream big, dreams will come true. Okay. The party leaders thought of it in almost 70, 80 years back. They don't want 370. And ultimately they did it. And this is how manifestation. Bharatiya Janasangh emerged as the principal non-Congress right-wing party in the North India. Okay. And here comes in the 77-80 Bharat Janta phase. Janta phase means Janta Party. We will discuss about it. Janta Party. So after Bharatiya Janasangh merged with the Janta Party, okay, there was so many opposition parties who joined and collected themselves against the Congress in the 1977 election, and Indira Gandhi lost the election, and Bharatiya Janasangh, actually it is Janta Party which made the government, and BJS, Bharatiya Janasangh was part of it. Internal conflict over RSS link, dual membership issue led to split. Former BJS leader exited Janta. Ultimately, they left it. So many leaders, all the Bharatiya Janasangha, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Murli Manohar Joshi, Lal Krishna Advani, they were part of Janata Party. They were part of Janata Party, but there were so many people with the different ideologies, very much different ideology. That's why that government didn't survive much. Okay. And ultimately, here comes a big giant, that is Bharatiya Janata Party in the 1980. Okay. Chappa Chappa Bhajappa. This was the slogan of Bhajpa. I still remember when I was in my knicker, okay, in my Bermuda, and used to play, kind of regional games in the streets of Rajasthan. And there were slogan ring by the, having a lotus flower in their hand. Chappa Chappa Bhajappa. I was like, I like this slogan. It's Chappa Chappa Bhajappa, and I also just went behind them, because I came to know that ultimately after the ending the procession, they will provide us with the tea and biscuit. So I said, why don't I participate? Me and my other friends participated. Were not aware that one day this party will make national government. Okay, and these were the days in 1999, 2000. Okay, I was just 5-6 years old at that time. Okay, so we did it. Kashmir war, I still remember. Yes, Vrinda Karat, one of the CPI leader. Okay, they just came up with the effigy of Vrinda Karat, and we were like, "हमको मजा आ रहा है, जलाओ इसको." Okay, this was the case. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee visited our village. Okay, I belong to a village which is not very big village, but the school in which I studied, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the person who inaugurated that school. Okay, in the entry part of my school, the school is Saraswati Shishu Mandir. Okay, yes, and inaugurated by Atal Bihari Vajpayee himself in 1985. Okay, what? Tiwari ji? Atal Bihari Vajpayee ka? Little. This is not the right word to use here. Little is Sharma ji. Not the right word to use here. Little. What is little? Tiwari ji. Small. Okay. Marginal is a better word. Okay. So, founded by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi was also there. Prominent leaders. In 1980, they formed the Bharatiya Janata Party. Okay. Initially, they followed the Gandhian socialism. Seriously. Okay. Yes, those were the leaders. Atal Bihari Vajpayee had the stator. Ajat Shatru. Okay. Even everybody having a huge respect. Okay. The movie which is made on Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Have you watched that movie? Even I didn't. But still I remember the song in that movie. That's a very good song. ये भारत माँ तेरी माटी तेरा आदेश पहले दुनिया के सारे सुख पीछे है मेरा देश पहले. Wow. Cultural nationalism, best representation. Problem is it is a propaganda movie. Okay. If you are showcasing the things done by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee, you must showcase it. Okay. But somewhere, propaganda just crept into the things. Nowadays, Bollywood is kind of opinionated. So, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, these were the people associated with the Bharatiya Janata Party. And ultimately, they adopted assertive Hindutva politics, Ram Janmabhoomi movement. This person, Lal Krishna Advani, today he is not getting enough respect in his own party. He is considered the Vishwa Pitama of the party. Once considered the Loh Purush of Bharatiya Janata Party. But today, because of the two people, okay, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, he is not getting enough respect in his own party. Okay, it happens. Although there is a high claims by Mr. Modi and Amit Shah that we respect him so much, but पूछा इन्होंने आडवाणी साहब ने, ठीक है, मोदी जी और अमित शाह दोनों जो अभी बहुत ज्यादा पावरफुल लोग हैं, आडवाणी जी बैठे, आडवाणी जी ने पूछा अभी मैं जिंदा हूं, ठीक है, मेरी विचारधारा जिंदा है, ठीक है, और मैं तुमको गाइड कर रहा हूं, मेरे मार्गदर्शन में चल रहे हो, मैं मर जाऊंगा तो क्या करोगे? मोदी जी और अमित शाह ने एक टुक जवाब दिया, अंतिम संस्कार. क्या करेंगे? मरने के बाद तो यही होता है. ठीक है, समझ रहे हो? तो अभी आडवाणी जी की स्थिति थोड़ी दयनीय है, पर पॉइंट ये है कि नहीं होनी चाहिए थी, ठीक है. पर अब आडवाणी जी जब अपने रंग में थे तो उनके जो फियर्स स्पीचेस हैं 1990, आज जो राम जन्मभूमि का मूवमेंट हुआ और राम मंदिर बना है, उस राम मंदिर बनने के पीछे जो मुख्य व्यक्ति है, वन ऑफ द प्रोमिनेंट पर्सन, नॉट ओनली हिम, ही इज वन ऑफ देम, ओके, लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी. बिकॉज हो सकता है अपनी राजनीति के लिए या किसी भी वजह से या हिंदुत्व का जो एजेंडा है उसी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए राम मंदिर के अंदर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को एक बहुत बड़ा क्या मिल गया सर, इशू मिल गया. और इसी इशू के लिए जो आडवाणी जी है वो अपनी टोयोटा जो गाड़ी थी उसके ऊपर एक बड़ा सा रथ बनाया उन्होंने, राम रथ, और उस रथ को लेकर वो कार सेवकों के साथ निकले कि राम लला हम आएंगे और मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे. ये जो नारा है ना, ये नारा देने वाले व्यक्ति कौन है? लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी, कि भैया आएंगे मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे. जो मंदिर वहीं बनाने का जो सपना है वो अल्टीमेटली क्या हुआ है सर, सच हुआ है. और मंदिर की आई थिंक जयंती आने वाली है ना, 22 तारीख, कब, 22 को है ना, 22 जनवरी को छुट्टी उट्टी की घोषणा हो रही, मैंने सुना है कुछ, ऐसा मेरे को सुनने में आया कि हाँ, कहाँ पूछना पड़ेगा? नहीं, अरे देखो, मैं एक सामान्य छुट्टी की बात कर रहा हूँ, यहाँ नहीं, देश में छुट्टी होने वाली है, यहाँ नहीं. यहाँ कौन सी छुट्टी, यहाँ कोई छुट्टी नहीं होती, फालतू बातें नहीं करनी, ठीक है. तो छुट्टी उट्टी की मेरे को सूचना मिल रही है कि हो सकती है, ठीक है. और जिस तरीके की आस्था है लोगों की राम में, उस तरीके से छुट्टी बनती भी है, ठीक है. बस ये है कि राम के नाम पे छुट्टी मिल रही है तो रावण के जैसा हुड़दंग नहीं करना है, ठीक है. राम के नाम पे छुट्टी मिलती है, लोग रावण बन जाते हैं, ठीक है. रावण को तो जलाते हम हर साल, इसीलिए हमको पता है वो कभी नहीं मरता, इसलिए तो हर साल जलाना पड़ रहा है ना. हाँ, अपने अंदर के रावण के साथ क्या करो, जिहाद, और जिहाद नहीं, सॉरी सॉरी ये थोड़ा वालेकुम प्रणाम वाला मिक्स हो गया मिक्स हो गया वो, नहीं नहीं ठीक है। चलिए, तो फिर हिंदुत्व को असर्ट किया और राम जन्मभूमि मूवमेंट जो है ना, उसी में बीजेपी को एग्जैक्टली विंग्स मिले और उनका जो सोशल बेस है ना वो बहुत बढ़ गया। ये 1990 के दशक में दो पॉलिटिक्स चल रही थी, मंडल और कमंडल। मंडल पॉलिटिक्स कौन सी थी, वो ओबीसी रिजर्वेशन वाली, और कमंडल पॉलिटिक्स ये वाली थी। कमंडल यू नो, है ना, रामलला हम आएंगे मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे। और ये जो उन्होंने जो यात्रा निकाली ना, इस यात्रा में वो सब जगह पहुंचे। जाना अल्टीमेटली कहाँ था, यूपी जाना था। यूपी में और बिहार होते हुए, बिहार में लालू प्रसाद यादव की सरकार थी। लालू जी बोले हम नहीं आने देंगे बुढ़बा, ठीक है तो लालू जी का थोड़ा विरोध हुआ, तो लालू जी बोलते हैं कि ये आप गलत यात्रा कर रहे हैं, आप ये आप इस यात्रा से सद्भावना बिगाड़ देंगे, ठीक है। और फिर मुलायम सिंह जी की सरकार थी कहाँ पे, उत्तर प्रदेश में, ठीक है, वहां भी थोड़ा सा लफड़ा टंटा हुआ सर, ठीक है। अल्टीमेटली राम जन्मभूमि मूवमेंट जो है वो कन्वर्ट होते होते बाबरी मॉस्क डिमोलिशन में कन्वर्ट हुआ, कि बाबरी मस्जिद को ढहा दिया गया, ढांचे को। और वो फिर केस तो चल ही रहा था, केस तो 1948 से चल रहा है, केस तो देश आजाद होती केस आया पहले, राम जन्मभूमि का केस अभी से नहीं है, 1948-49 से चल रहा है, ठीक है। तब से वो मोमेंटम बना हुआ है। अल्टीमेटली अभी तो मंदिर वाला इशू खत्म नहीं हुआ है, मंदिर बन गया है पर मंदिर इशू हो गया है, समझ गए। अब मंदिर तो बन गया है, जैसे मंदिर बना है तो अच्छी बात है, चलो इतना सैकड़ों मतलब इतना साल पुराना जो डिस्प्यूट है, लोगों की भावनाएं जो है उनको रेस्पेक्ट किया गया, मंदिर बना, अच्छी बात है सर, ठीक है। पर अब जो रिलीजियस कॉन्शियसनेस जिस पीक पे जा रही है, वो थोड़ा सा क्या है, थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लमेटिक है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी के थोड़ा अगेंस्ट चला जा रहा है, वो थोड़ा नहीं काफी अगेंस्ट जा रहा है, थोड़ा क्यों बोल रहा हूँ मैं, तो वो थोड़ा सा है समस्या, पर ठीक है, डील करेंगे, हो रहा है डील, हो जाएगा, हो ही जाता होगा मतलब बीजेपी ग्रेजुअली रिप्लेस्ड कांग्रेस एज द प्रिंसिपल नेशनल पार्टी। 1984 में लुक एट बीजेपी, 1984 2 सीट्स, 1996 सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी, 98 एनडीए की गवर्नमेंट, 2014 से प्रेजेंट डोमिनेट रूलिंग पार्टी, 303 सीट लाए थे 2019 में, हाईएस्ट बीजेपी का सीट था 303, मतलब अकेले ही सरकार बना ली थी, है ना। अभी वापस थोड़ा ग्रेजुअली क्या है, डाउन हुआ, कांग्रेस ने अपने आप को वापस क्या किया, असर्ट किया है। So this is the kind of graph of BJP. Okay. Here comes the Dravidian political streams. Dravidian political stream को पढ़ लेते, हमने बात करी है इस पे, but still look into this. First is your Justice Party. 1916 में बनी थी सर, ठीक है। किन्होंने बनाई थी सर, त्यागराज चेट्टी, टीएम नायर एंड द नताशा मुदलियार, ठीक है। इनको याद रखना है तीनों का नाम। जस्टिस पार्टी 1916 में बनी थी, मद्रास में बनी थी सर, और इसका जो मेजर पर्पस था वो था नॉन ब्राह्मणिकल इंटरेस्ट, बिकॉज वो कह रहे थे कांग्रेस और सारी पार्टीज ब्राह्मणिकल इंटरेस्ट की बात कर रही है, वी नीड टू टॉक अबाउट द नॉन ब्राह्मणिकल इंटरेस्ट, द द्राविडियन इंटरेस्ट। डिमांड रिजर्वेशन इन एजुकेशन इन द गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स, they were asking for reservation, that's why when they made government in the Tamil Nadu, they came up with the GEO 1928 giving reservation in the education. Chambakam Dore Rajan. So ideology, social justice, anti-Brahmin dominance, early Dravidian consciousness. Okay. They're saying that Brahminical hegemony or the Brahminical Vedic interpretation, all these things are not actually or indigenous to the Dravidian culture. Okay. So this Justice Party formed government in the Madras Presidency during the 20s under British rule. Okay, Justice Party made the government. Now here comes a new man. Okay, that is E.V. Ramaswamy Naicker, who joined Justice Party and he started self-respect movement, which we discussed. Okay, rationalism, anti-casteism, women's emancipation, anti-religious orthodoxy, Dravidian identity. Okay, under the self-respect movement, they eliminated the caste surname from their names, their self-respect. Periyar later took over the Justice Party. Periyar taken over the Justice Party. Now this Justice Party converted into DK. Okay, that is Dravida Kadgam. Dravida Kadgam. 1944. Justice Party renamed as the Dravida Kadgam by Periyar. Social movement, not an electoral party. So initially it was a social movement, not electoral party. Abolition of caste, self-respect, Dravida Nadu. They were asking for the Dravida Nadu. Okay, for example, like Tamil Nadu, that is Dravida Nadu, they were expecting. DK decided to stay out of electoral politics. Okay, they said we are not participating in the electoral politics. That's why now here comes 1949, the Dravida Muditra Kadagam, DMK. Now this party is founded by the CN Annadurai, Anna, after breaking from Periyar. They broke from the Periyar and made the DMK. Reason of a split, Periyar's marriage controversy. I discussed with you, Periyar in the age of 80, married to a girl of 24 years. He was 80 and he married to a girl 24 years. Now this controversy erupted. Okay. Although there were misrepresentation about this, some people say that this marriage was not because of okay because of any regenerational aspiration. This marriage was about to taking care of the legacy of the Periyar. Okay. So there was many interpretation, but yes, this was a huge controversy. If today, like the Digvijay Singh, Digvijay Singh, Diggi Raja. Digvijay Singh is a very senior leader of the Indian National Congress, and he was a chief minister of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, and I think 7, 8, or 9 years back, one of the very prominent anchor of the Doordarshan, Amrita or something like that. So the age gap was almost 25 to 30 years between Digvijay Singh and that anchor. Digvijay Singh married to that woman. Yes, he did. He did. Okay, yes, they are married today. So that was again a controversy. I think 7, 8 years back, nearly. Digvijay Singh. Okay. So it happens sometimes. Okay. So after this controversy, CN Annadurai made new party, and that became the DMK. So Periyar never participated in electoral politics. The DMK came in 1949. There were some other people also in the DMK. The father of Stalin, Karunanidhi. Karunanidhi was also founder of the DMK. Okay. Now here comes DMK came to power in 1967, ending Congress rule in Tamil Nadu. Okay. After 1967, there was a new party in the region. DMK came into power in 1967. Okay. Here comes AIADMK, All India Anna Dravid Mudra Kanagam. MGR came into picture. MG Ramchandran, who is a very famous film star. MG Ramchandran is split from DMK after conflict with the M Karunanidhi. So ultimately, Annadurai was who made the DMK, but there were some other people. Karunanidhi was also there. Now Annadurai, I think, died. After that, MG Ramchandran made a new party to conflict with M Karunanidhi, honored the Annadurai. Annadurai died. Okay. So DMK was taken over by the who? Karunanidhi. And a new party came. Ramchandran said that DMK is going in the wrong direction because Karunanidhi is corrupt. So he made a new party, and that is AIA DMK. MGR was a very big film star in Tamil Nadu. Okay. So after Karunanidhi, named in honor of Anna Durai, that All India Anna Dravida Mudra Kanagam. So this is how you spell it. This is how you utter it. All India Anna Dravida Mudra Kanagam. Otherwise, it will not be acceptable. If you will say Dravida Munitra Kanagam, it's wrong. Okay, you must speak with the flow. It's Anna, All India, Anna Dravida Munitra Kanagam. It should be spoken like this only. Otherwise, it will not be acceptable. Okay, yes, we have to. Speaking Tamil is very, it's a tongue twister. Not easy to speak Tamil. Okay, but I am very good in speaking Tamil. Why? Because I listen a lot of songs. Kalyana Tennila. So that's why it's Dravida Mudra Kanagam. Getting it? You must speak it properly. रामलीला चल रही, मैं मीनिंग बताऊं? ठीक है. थिंक अबाउट इट. द्रविड़ मुनित्र कणगम क्या मतलब होगा इसका? हाँ? It's about protecting the interest of the Dravida land. Okay, this is what the DMK stand for. Welfare politics, AIADMK formed its first government in 77 under MGR, and there is one very famous associate with the MGR is the Jayalalitha. Okay, and Jayalalitha became the chief minister of Tamil Nadu. Okay, She is no more. She was a very good actress and dancer in her young days. Getting it? This was the DMK politics. Now, the second Lok Sabha election happened in the 1957. The number of seats changed. Number of seats changed. Previously, number of seats were 489. Now, number of seats is 494. It means number of seats changed according to the 1952. What? 1952 Delimitation Commission. Again, Congress ruled it 371, but CPI got more seats now this time, 16 to 27. CPI had a good hold. Praja Socialist Party got 19 because ultimately that Kisan Party has been merged into this. 19, Jharkhand Party 6, Bharatiya Janasangh 4, Shiromani Akali Dal 2, Hindu Mahasabha 1, Independence, blah blah blah. Again, the CPI became the second largest party along with the Praja Socialist Party because the Kisan Mazdoor Party merged with the Praja Socialist Party. Okay. This was the second. Again, Congress made the victory and they made the government. Okay. The third Lok Sabha election, a continuing mandate, 1962. Now the same seats, 494 seats, same seats, no change in the seats. 248 needed for the majority. Congress 361. Okay, but there was Nehru, bro. Okay, Nehru was leading the party. A very much charismatic leader, Nehru. You know. CPI got more now, 29 seats. PSP 12, Swatantra Party, a new party came into picture. The Swatantra Party got 18 seats. Swatantra Party is made by whom? Who was the first Governor General of India from India? Who was the first Governor General of India from India? Who was the only Governor General of India from India? Who was the last Governor General of India? Should I kill myself? I will attempt suicide. That will make you happy. Who was the last Governor General of India? Nobody knows. Who was the first Governor General of India? Yes. Sorry, come again. Yes. Chakravarti Gopalachari. Okay. He is the only person who served as the Governor General of India after Lord Mountbatten. Looking at each other, giving high five to each other. C. Rajgopalachari. He is the only Governor General of India from India. Rest all were British. Okay. C. Rajgopalachari. C. Rajgopalachari made his own party and that is Swatantra Party. Okay. And the Swatantra Party contested election in the Tamil Nadu region. Okay. So almost 18 seats they won. It's a huge. Okay. Janasangha is continuously proliferating number of seats, 14 seats. Okay. But still Congress dominance is there. 62 elections, Congress dominance endures. CPI is a strong opposition. Rise of few forces, Swatantra Party and Bharatiya Janasangha is getting seats in the double digits. Right? A fourth Lok Sabha election, the party-wise result again. Now number of seats 520 seats, sir. Number of seats has been increased, were contested with the majority mark of 261. INC 283, again dominance of INC. Nehru was there. In this election also Nehru was, no, Nehru was not there. 67, sorry. It is in 67. Congress got 283, Swatantra Party 44. Look at the number of seats they got, 44 seats. Communist Party 23, Janasangha is proliferating 35, Praja Socialist, Dravida Muditra Kanagam 25. Samyukta Socialist Party This party belongs to whom? Anybody tell the name? Sanयुक्त Social Party. Ram Manohar Lohia. Ram Manohar Lohia. Okay. Shiromani Akali Dal, Jharkhand Party, which became the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, and independent. Okay. So Swatantra Party got quite a seats, 44 number of seats. But still Congress dominance. Congress made the government. Okay. And who became the PM? It is the Indira Gandhi, 67. Now, 5th Lok Sabha election. INCR, INCO. Now, Congress split took place. There was a split in the Congress. Okay, the senior leaders which were opposing the Indira Gandhi, for example, Morarji Desai and so many other people. Okay, they were considered as the syndicate. Which faction? Syndicate. So Congress O and the Congress R. Okay, that is Indira Gandhi faction. Okay, so Congress R and Congress O. So syndicate faction got very little votes or little seats. Again, Indira Gandhi faction won 352. It was in 71 election. Okay. Congress resurgence, Garibi Hatao, and all these things. 77. Now, meanwhile, there was emergency. Meanwhile, there was emergency in 1975. So the Lok Sabha tenure has been increased twice for 1 year. Okay, so this Lok Sabha survived for almost 7 years. Okay, or 6.5 years. So in 77, the election came. Now here comes the twist. Okay, just because of what? Because of, and meanwhile, there was one more thing. In 1973, there was a 31st Constitution Amendment in which the first time the total strength of the seats for the states has been increased from 500 to 530. Constitution Amendment, and the UT seats for 20. So total 550 seats, which is even Barkarar today. Today is also 550 seats. So only one time the exact or the maximum strength has been changed. That is in the 1973 31st Constitution Amendment Act, from 500 to 530, and this was the case after that. So 542 seats overall. 272 was the majority needed. Party. Now here comes the Janata Party. This Janata Party was the amalgamation of so many parties. Okay, and this was 77 election. So the Congress faction, which is syndicate faction, Morarji Desai, and some of the other regional parties, like all the parties, the DMK and some Telugu Desam party. Okay, so many parties came together. The Bharatiya Jana Sangha, okay, and Sanयुक्त Socialist Party of the RML, all came together and they formed a new party called Janata Party. That Janata Party got 295 seats, crossed the mark of 272. But this 295 came with the condition that all the people belongs to different ideology. Okay, it's Mahagathbandhan with a different ideology. So not able to survive longer. Congress got only 154. Now here the time starts that Congress is somewhere diminishing its position. Now here comes CPI M, because the split already took place. So CPI and CPI M. So CPI M got 22, CPI got only 7, DMK 2, blah 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 blah. Getting it, sir? So again the regional party is coming. Janata Party is a amalgamation. They made it a party, but ideologically they were very much different. So Morarji Desai became PM. For 2 years he was there. Emergency aftermath, so Congress थोड़े सा less popular हो गई थी सर. First non-Congress government बनी सेंटर में पहली बार. Okay. Now 7th came in the 1980. Meanwhile मोरारजी देसाई PM रहे और फिर कांग्रेस के सपोर्ट से चौधरी चरण सिंह रहे, पर वो शॉर्ट टर्म तक रहे, फिर ज़्यादा नहीं रह पाए. और अगला फिर किसका आता है नंबर? 1980 में हंग असेंबली हो गई क्योंकि कुछ हुआ नहीं सर, है ना, कोई सरकार नहीं बना पा रहा, तो प्रेसिडेंट अनाउंस दैट देयर शुड बी नेक्स्ट इलेक्शन. 1980 का इलेक्शन जो है 77 के 3 साल बाद ही इलेक्शन हो गया वापस. हियर कम्स अगेन आयरन लेडी. ठीक है, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस आई, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस इंदिरा. ओके, इंदिरा गांधी फैक्शन 353 सीट सर. अगेन एट टॉप जनता पार्टी रिड्यूस टू 31. ओके, मतलब लोटे डूबे तो इतने डूबे कि 295 से सीधा कहाँ है सर, 31 पे। CPI M 37, CPI 10, DMK 16 राइजिंग। अगेन नोबडी इज अल्टीमेटली नहीं कर पा रहा कांग्रेस को टच। तो 80 में फिर से बन गई सर सरकार, और 80 से कब तक चली? 84 तक, ठीक है। नाउ 84 व्हाट हैपेंस? जनरल इलेक्शन वाज हेल्ड इन द शेडो ऑफ द नेशनल ट्रेजेडी। इंदिरा गांधी वाज असैसिनेटेड। इंदिरा गांधी का असैसिनेशन हुआ, पीएम असैसिनेशन हुआ, और चुनाव का टाइम भी अप्रोच कर रहा था, तो अल्टीमेटली इलेक्शन ही अनाउंस हुए और पीएम की डेथ हो गई थी, तो अगेन सिंपैथी वोट वाज विद द कांग्रेस। लैंडमार्क विक्ट्री 404, nobody did it. Modi ji only thought of it that अब की बार 400 पार, but till the time highest voting percentage 1984 election 404 seats out of 543, highest ever, landmark. Okay, and no doubt Congress was rising, but sympathy vote worked. Okay, sympathy vote worked because Indira Gandhi died, and Indira Gandhi was a charismatic leader. Nehru was charismatic leader. Indira Gandhi was charismatic. Today we can consider Modi as charismatic leader. Okay, like in the Indian prime ministerial history, these three people I consider personally charismatic. What is charismatic leader? Charismatic leader means somebody who has a charisma that people do not consider what he is saying. They are just considering he is saying or she is saying. That's it. ठीक है, समझ आ रहा है? फेस वैल्यू, यस यू कैन से फेस वैल्यू, उतना एक कैरिज्मा होता है। जैसे आज मोदी जी कुछ बोलते हैं तो उनका उतना कैरिज्मा जनरेटेड है कि भैया बोल दिया ना, बस हो गया। उस समय इंदिरा गांधी के साथ ऐसा था, इतना ज्यादा करिश्मा था, ठीक है। राजीव गांधी का करिश्मा यहाँ नहीं दिखा एग्जैक्टली, इंदिरा गांधी के करिश्मा से राजीव गांधी इमर्ज होकर आए। ऑल्दो राजीव गांधी वाज अ गुड लीडर, but he took some, every prime minister took some good decisions, some bad decisions, but 404 seats is the highest in the history of India till now. BJP, it was, why 2 seats only? Because BJP formed in 80 only. It was the first election BJP fought, and they got 2 seats. TDP, now Telugu Desam party is a new party. Okay, it got 30 seats. It's a good party. Who is the TDP? Chandrababu Naidu, currently having government in the Andhra Pradesh. Okay, this party TDP has been made by his father-in-law. Can you name the father-in-law of Telugu Desam party, Chandrababu Naidu? The father-in-law is NTR. Okay, NT Ramarao. NT Ramarao. Junior NTR. He's a Telugu star. Vasku Bagunde. Telugu. So जूनियर एनटीआर, जनता गैराज देखिए ना, वो जनता गैराज का एक्टर वही है, जूनियर एनटीआर, ठीक है। वो भी तो मूवी है ना, आरआरआर में, आरआरआर में है ना वो, बस आरआरआर में जो 2 है वो घुंघराले बाल वाला जूनियर एनटीआर ही तो है, उसके दादाजी, ठीक है। तो ये उसके क्या फूफा जी लगते हैं शायद, चंद्रबाबू नायडू, हाँ फूफा जी लगते हैं, क्योंकि इस चंद्रबाबू नायडू के ससुर जी थे एनटीआर, एज फार एज माई नॉलेज इज कंसर्न। फैमिली ट्री में गड़बड़ करता हूँ मैं, पर नहीं, इसके ससुर जी हैं, हाँ, ठीक है। तो दैट टीडीपी, तेलुगु देशम पार्टी, जिनकी अभी गवर्नमेंट है सर, कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी एम और दोनों खेल रही है सर। एआईएडीएम के भी पिक्चर में आ चुकी है, 12 सीटें वो भी ले आए हैं सर, ठीक है। अभी भी कोई बहुत बड़ा ऑपोजिशन कांग्रेस के सामने निकल के नहीं आया, एक बार जनता पार्टी निकल के आ गई। अब 84 से 89 तक क्या रही सर? राजीव गांधी की सरकार रही। हियर कम्स 9th लोकसभा इलेक्शन 89 में, कांग्रेस अगेन इमर्ज्ड एज द सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी, बट इशू वाज कि मार्क क्रॉस नहीं हो रहा था सर, नहीं हो रहा था, और जनता दल अगेन इमर्ज 141, ठीक है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी 85 टू 85 जंप, communist and blah 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 blah. Now Janata Party, Bharatiya Janata Party and other decided that they will make the government. So here comes a new Janata Dal. Here comes the Janata Dal. This Janata Dal make the government. This is not Janata Party actually. It is Janata Dal. Okay. So many different parties, they make a single ideological thought process and they make Janata Dal. Now Janata Dal with the help of BJP, they made their own party. Okay. They made their government. 2 people came into picture in this duration, Chandrasekhar and the VP Singh. Okay, they belongs to the Janata Dal. Chandrasekhar and VP Singh. Ultimately, again, the things scattered and 1991 election happened. Hung assembly again. Okay. In 1991 election, again Congress with 232, BJP got 120, Janata Dal 59, blah 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 other parties. Ultimately, Congress made the government with the coalition in 1991 with the PV Narasimha Rao as your prime minister, sir. Okay. Now here again Congress got the majority. Again the sympathy was there because in 1991 Rajiv Gandhi died while confessing for the election. 11th Lok Sabha 1996. This was not a long-lasting election, long-lasting Lok Sabha. Why? BJP single largest party first time, 161. Congress 140, Janata Dal 46, blah 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 blah. Other parties, regional parties are getting in. But the issue was that there was mandate was fragmented. Okay, so ultimately BJP emerged as single largest party, formed a government under Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but it resigned after 13 days due to the lack of majority सपोर्ट. सिर्फ 13 दिन की ही सरकार इनकी चल पाई और इसमें उनको नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन में वो हार गए सर. और अल्टीमेटली क्या हो गया, इस्तीफा देना पड़ा 1996 में. ठीक है. और 1996, 97, 98 जो है बीच का, उसमें फिर अदर कोलिशंस ने अपनी सरकार बनाई सर. उसके अंदर दो और प्रधानमंत्री रहे, एक HD देवेगौड़ा और एक इंद्र कुमार गुजराल. और फिर 1998 का वापस क्या आ गया सर, इलेक्शन आ गया. मतलब 96 का इलेक्शन, 2 साल बाद 98 में वापस इलेक्शन आ गया क्योंकि फिर से हंग असेंबली आ गई, कोई नहीं बना पा रहा था सरकार. अगर बीजेपी अगेन 182 हाईएस्ट सीट्स, कांग्रेस 141, ब्ला 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 ब्ला. अगेन द कोलिशन हैपेंड, एनडीए कोलिशन. बीजेपी ने एनडीए बनाया सर. ठीक है. वाजपेयी की प्राइम मिनिस्टरशिप में चला थोड़े दिन, शॉर्ट लिव्ड परफॉर्मेंस, बहुत लंबे समय तक चला नहीं. 13 महीने इनकी सरकार चली, AIADMK ने सपोर्ट ले लिया, वापस से क्या हो गया, फ्रेश इलेक्शन. मतलब 96 में चुनाव हुए, 2 साल चल पाया. 98 में वापस चुनाव हुए, वो 13 महीने चली, और 99 में वापस चुनाव हुए सर. तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने एक बार 13 दिन के लिए, कौन, अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी. उसके बाद देवेगौड़ा आ गए, देवेगौड़ा के बाद गुजराल, गुजराल के बाद फिर से चुनाव, फिर चुनाव के बाद 13 महीने के लिए PM बने. 13 महीने के बाद फिर AIADMK का सपोर्ट चला गया, फिर वापस हंग असेंबली आ गई. फिर 99 में वापस क्या हुआ, चुनाव हुआ. और ये जो चुनाव हुआ, इस चुनाव में बीजेपी को डिसिसिव क्या मिली, विक्ट्री मिली. दिस 99 पार्टी वाइज बीजेपी गॉट 182. डिसिसिव का मतलब है इनका कोलिशन स्ट्रांग बना. ठीक है. समाजवादी पार्टी हियर कम्स इनटू पिक्चर. समाजवादी पार्टी जो है 1992 में बनी थी सर. ठीक है, जनता दल से ही निकल के. blah blah. Again they made the government. Okay, then Atal Bihari Vajpayee did the full term 1999 to 2004. full term किया सर उन्होंने. किया. And here comes 2004. Okay, इलेक्शन जो हुआ था 2004 के अंदर, वो इलेक्शन जो है कांग्रेस लड़ रही थी अपने पर, और कांग्रेस को लीड करने के लिए वहां जो पर्सन खड़ा था वो थी सोनिया गांधी. ठीक है. और सोनिया गांधी का बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा एक्सेंट था नहीं, हिंदी बोलती थी, तो भाषण देने जाते थे तो इंग्लिश में लिखना पड़ता था हिंदी का भाषण, ऐसे ही वो भाषण देती थी. बट एक इन्फ्लुएंस जो था सोनिया गांधी का उस समय काफ़ी प्रामाणिक था. तुलना की जाती थी इंदिरा गांधी से, ऑल्दो इंदिरा गांधी जैसा तो सोनिया गांधी का कैरिज्मा आया नहीं, क्योंकि इंदिरा गांधी तो भारत की कल्चर और रूट से जुड़ी हुई थी. सोनिया गांधी नो डाउट इंडिया के में आके इंडियनाइज हो गई थी, बट स्टिल एक इन्फ्लुएंस जो था वो तो वेस्टर्न था ही. स्टिल शी वाज वेरी काम, शी वाज वेरी इंडियनाइज्ड इन एवरी मैनर पॉसिबल. एंड दैट्स वाई लोगों के अंदर कहीं ना कहीं सोनिया गांधी के लिए एक पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट जनरेट हुआ, और इसीलिए कांग्रेस की लैंडस्लाइड विक्ट्री हुई 2004 में. बिकॉज 2004 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो चुनाव है वो अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी के अंडर ही हुआ था. ठीक है. अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी उस समय तक ठीक थे. 2004 का चुनाव, और 4 के चुनाव में अगर जीतती बीजेपी वापस तो अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी ही PM बनते. ऑन द अदर हैंड कांग्रेस ने अपने प्रधानमंत्री का चेहरा नहीं दिखाया था कि कौन हमारा प्रधानमंत्री होगा अगर हम जीतेंगे तो. बस कांग्रेस अपने पर सोनिया गांधी की लीडरशिप में लड़ रहे थे. तो ये तय था कि अगर कांग्रेस जीतती है तो सोनिया गांधी क्या बनेगी सर, प्रधानमंत्री बनेगी, ये लग रहा था. पर अल्टीमेटली हुआ ये कि 2004 में पूरा का पूरा कांग्रेस स्वीप नहीं करी, बट अच्छी सीट्स कांग्रेस को मिली 145, बीजेपी 138 पे आई। और अल्टीमेटली जो सरकार बनी है सीपीआई और सबके सहयोग से, वो एक नया गठबंधन निकल के आया, यूपीए, यूनियन प्रोग्रेसिव अलायंस, संयुक्त प्रगतिशील गठबंधन, यूपीए। इस यूपीए में इन्होंने सरकार बनाई और ये वाले में काफी बेटर सरकार वो चला पाए 2004 से 2009 तक। काफी बदलाव भी किए उन्होंने, काफी बड़ी चीजें भी आई, वेलफेयर ओरिएंटेड गवर्नेंस आई इसके अंदर। आरटीआई आया सर 2005 में, एमजी नरेगा आया 2005 में, राइट टू एजुकेशन आया 2009 में। तो कई सारे राइट बेस्ड अप्रोच जो थी, फॉरेस्ट राइट एक्ट आया 2006 में। तो ये राइट बेस्ड काफी चीजें मनमोहन सिंह लेकर आए, लीडिंग द नेशन फ्रॉम दिस टू दिस। ठीक है, अब आते हैं 2009 के इलेक्शन में। 2009 के चुनाव में ये था कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर का 5 साल का टेन्योर हो चुका था, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह ने काफी चीजें अच्छे से मैनेज करी। 2004 से 2009 के बीच में ग्रोथ रेट भी इंडिया की अच्छी थी, कांग्रेस के ऊपर किसी तरीके का कोई भी बड़ा, किसी तरीके का करप्शन एलिगेशन नहीं लगा था। बट 9 से 14 का जो टाइम था, वो टाइम कांग्रेस के लिए बहुत क्राइसिस का टाइम था। इसके अंदर बहुत सारे करप्शन के चार्जेस लग गए सर। ठीक है, इसके अंदर देखो, जो 2004-9 का इलेक्शन था, उसके अंदर कांग्रेस को 200 सीट मिल गई सर, काफी लीप करके। ठीक है, बीजेपी को 116, बीजेपी डाउन हुआ, अल्टीमेटली सरकार बनी और इन्होंने एलिगेशंस बहुत लग गए सर। ठीक है, लेफ्ट फ्रंट ने बीच में जो न्यूक्लियर डील हुई उसमें उन्होंने वापस अपना समर्थन ले लिया। ठीक है, और इसके अंदर सेकंड टर्म के अंदर आप देखेंगे कि करप्शन के एलिगेशन बहुत लगे। 2012 4 इंपॉर्टेंट करप्शन के एलिगेशन की बात होती है, स्कैंडल्स की बात होती है, स्कैम नहीं बोलेंगे, स्कैंडल बोलेंगे। पहला जो है स्कैंडल, दैट इज द कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स का स्कैंडल हुआ था सर। कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में करीब जो सुरेश कलमाड़ी जो इन्वॉल्व थे, अभी उनकी डेथ हुई है थोड़े दिन पहले, कांग्रेस एमपी। तो कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स का स्कैंडल हुआ था। ठीक है, उसके अलावा 2G स्पेक्ट्रम का घोटाला जो हुआ था, ठीक है, जो करीब 2-2.5 लाख करोड़ का घोटाला जिसको बोलते हैं, वो फाइनली कोर्ट ने कहा कि वो घोटाला हुआ नहीं था। ठीक है, पर उसी के परसेप्शन बना हुआ था कि हुआ है। उसके अलावा कोल गेट स्कीम हुआ था सर, कोल एलोकेशन का स्कैम, जिसमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर मनमोहन सिंह का भी नाम आया था उसके अंदर, पर अल्टीमेटली वो भी कुछ प्रूव हुआ नहीं। और एक आदर्श सोसाइटी का स्कैम हुआ था 2010 में। ठीक है, ये चारों स्कैम जो हुए हैं, इसमें से 2 स्कैम तो जेन्युइनली स्कैम, आदर्श सोसाइटी वाला स्कैम था ही, और क्या बोलते हैं ये कॉमनवेल्थ वाला स्कैम था। पर 2G और कोल वाला जो स्कैम है, उसमें ये कैग की रिपोर्ट के बेस पे था। कंट्रोलर ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया की रिपोर्ट ने बताया कि इतना नुकसान भारत को हुआ है। 2012 में कांग्रेस की जो गठबंधन है उसके खिलाफ, स्पेशली आफ्टर द निर्भया केस 16 दिसंबर 2012 को हुआ था। उसके बाद से जो है पूरा का पूरा मोर्चा सरकार के खिलाफ चालू हो गया। अन्ना हजारे का मूवमेंट हुआ सर। अन्ना हजारे के मूवमेंट में, अन्ना आंदोलन में इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन का मूवमेंट हुआ। उस करप्शन के मूवमेंट में आम आदमी पार्टी निकल के आई सर, बनी। और इस मूवमेंट में तो लग रहा था कि अब एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है सर, कांग्रेस अब जाएगी। ठीक है, अन्ना हजारे, बाबा रामदेव, बहुत सारे लोग उस समय प्रोमिनेंटली दिल्ली के रामलीला मैदान में, बहुत बड़ा मूवमेंट हुआ था वो। ठीक है, मैं कॉलेज के पहले साल में था, मुझे याद है। ठीक है, इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन ये मूवमेंट था। आम आदमी पार्टी उसी में बनी, दिल्ली में उन्होंने सरकार भी बनाई। और करीब 6 महीने पहले तक 2009 के चुनाव में लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी को प्रधानमंत्री पद का चेहरा बनाया गया था बीजेपी के लिए, तो आप हारे सर। और 2014 में फिर नरेंद्र मोदी का जो चेहरा है वो 6 महीने पहले ही बताया गया कि भाई प्राइम मिनिस्टर पद के लिए है, एंड ही इमर्ज्ड एज अ वेरी कैरिज्मेटिक लीडर पोस्ट देन। ओके, तो 2014 का अगर आप इलेक्शन देखेंगे तो करीब 282 सीट भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिली, अकेले ही उन्होंने 272 का मार्क क्रॉस कर लिया, एंड दिस वाज द वन ऑफ द लोएस्ट सीट, कांग्रेस गॉट 44। ठीक है, वर्स्ट। और इसमें ऐसी स्थिति आ गई थी कि ऐसा स्थिति बहुत बार पहले भी आया है कि किसी पार्टी को 50, जैसे अभी आप प्रीवियस इलेक्शन देखो कांग्रेस के डोमिनेंस के टाइम पे, कि किसी पार्टी को 10% सीट भी नहीं आई थी, इस वजह से कोई ऑपोजिशन का लीडर नहीं होता था। 10% सीट चाहिए ऑपोजिशन लीडर बनने के लिए। यहाँ पे भी ये हो गया था कि ऑपोजिशन 55 सीट तो चाहिए कम से कम ऑपोजिशन लीडर के लिए, कोई ऑपोजिशन का लीडर नहीं था सर। ठीक है, तो इस 16th लोकसभा में कोई ऑपोजिशन का लीडर था ही नहीं सर। फिर आप आएंगे 17th लोकसभा में 2019 में, इसमें तो और एक स्टेप आगे। ठीक है भैया, 303 धमा चौकड़ी मचा दी बीजेपी ने। ठीक है, और बाकी कांग्रेस जो है वो थोड़ा सा मार्जिनली इंप्रूव करके 44 से 52 पे आ गई। डीएमके और बाकी सब भी इंप्रूव कर रहे थे। टीएमसी नई पार्टी आ गई थी सर, तृणमूल कांग्रेस पहले आ गई थी, वो तो 99 में आ गई थी। YSRCP, ठीक है, जगन मोहन रेड्डी की जो पार्टी है, जिसकी सरकार थी आंध्र प्रदेश में, BRS से पहले, TDP से पहले, है ना। शिवसेना, बीजू जनता दल यूनाइटेड, इन सब का एक क्रोनोलॉजी आएगा, उसमें आप पढ़ लेना, ठीक है। छोटी छोटी पार्टियां सब गेन कर रही है। 18वीं लोकसभा जो रिसेंटली चुनाव हुआ है, उसमें वापस रिसर्जेंस देखने को मिला है पार्टीज का। बीजेपी की डाउन हुई है सीटें सर, 240 पे आ गए, अकेले जो 272 का आंकड़ा क्रॉस नहीं हुआ। कांग्रेस 99 पे आ गई, ठीक है, और समाजवादी 37 पे, तो क्वाइट अ गुड स्कोर, ठीक है। ये अभी रिसेंट है सर, ठीक है। अब इन सब के अंदर अलग अलग फेज है। 52 से 67 का फेज कांग्रेस के डोमिनेंस का है। 67 से 89 पे ट्रांजिशन और फ्रेगमेंटेशन है। कोलिशन एरा है 89 से 2014 का कोलिशन, और 14 के बाद अभी बीजेपी डोमिनेंट फेज चल रहा है सर, चल रहा है। अभी वापस कोलिशन में आ गए हैं आप, है ना। 2014 से लेके 24 के बाद कोलिशन में आ गए वापस आप। बीजेपी का डोमिनेंस तो है अभी, बट अकेले सिंगल पार्टी नहीं है जो सरकार बना ले, तो कोलिशन तो अभी है सर। ये स्थिति चल रही है, ये मेजर आपकी पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री है। अब हम इसमें कुछ कुछ चीजें जो इंपॉर्टेंट इंस्टांसेस हुए उनको कल डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है। जैसे इमरजेंसी हम कल डिस्कस करेंगे, क्या हुआ था, क्या कारण थे, और भी कुछ कुछ बातें। जैसे LPG डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे, इकोनॉमी में पढ़ चुके हो आप। मेन हमको इमरजेंसी पढ़ना है, वॉर के बारे में थोड़ा पढ़ लेंगे जो वॉर्स हुए हैं। बाकी पढ़ने को बहुत कुछ है, पढ़ो तो वो आप बुक से पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है। चलिए, बाय बाय।